How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews. Back with some Hot Butcher up in this piece. But the rare dark version of beer, Hot Butcher, in the form of their dark black. This be an Imperial Stout brewed with maple and sea salt, coming in at 10.5% alcohol by volume. So it's a session beer. On the back, per their classic notes, sweet maple, sea salt, and rich cocoa. They are not fucking around here. They're going on the nose with this one. I've done my fair share of Hot Butcher beers. They send me beer at least once a month, if not more. And they do quite a bit of variance in the beers that they make. A bulk of them are IPAs, but there's a big kind of swath of IPAs they actually do. They do stuff from clear beer to old school to new school to a lot of weird fuckduggery stuff. And they've been branching out into a lot of lager, pilsner, stuff like that. Kolsch's, smaller beers. Their pale ales, their itty-bitty beers are some of my favorite hop-forward beers. Then there's the stouts. Their Columbia Exposition Stout is one of my favorite stouts of all time. End sentence, period. Milkstachio is not my favorite, but I like the weirdness of that beer. But whenever they drop one of these, I get really excited. And they put this... Oh, man, that's shooting everywhere. They posted this on their Instagram, as they want to do. When anything ever comes out, I'm getting fucking beer all over my headphones and everything. And sometimes I don't see these posts because, I'm at work or whatever. I had someone tag me in it, saying, "You need to review this beer, please." I forget your name, brother. I was on Instagram, and I said, well, I will do my best to try to track some down. Lo and behold, a week and a half later, it arrives at my doorstep. It's like magic, honestly. It's like, remember Lost when Ben was deceiving Locke, and he said, "We have a box, and if you wish whatever you want is in there, it'll be there." And his dad was there, and he had Sawyer kill him. It's kind of like that, but with beer. So I dig it. This is so aggressive. I got a fan over here. I don't know if you guys can hear him. It's been pretty decent, the audio on these. I have a fan going this way, blowing on me, because right now it's 82 degrees in my room. And I can smell it. I smell this rich, sticky, burnt blackstrap molasses. What I assume that is hops, bittering from the hops, bittering from the roasted malts, and that combination of that cocoa kind of chocolate malt thing in combination with the maple syrup. That's what I assume we're getting at here. But it is, from a distance, it's violent. I'm excited. Label-wise, it's cool. That's classic Jitsu styling right there. And as far as this beer goes, we talked for 9 hours, and it still has a gigantic head on it. So, yeah, we're off to a good start. Yeah. Infinite creaminess in that head. Doesn't want to go anywhere anytime soon. Yeah. Now, we're talking about a combination of chocolate malts, sea salt, and maple syrup. It's not a combination you see a ton of beers. Maple syrup, chocolate malt, maple syrup, sea salt. But here's the thing. I've had a couple people send me chocolates. I'm not a big chocolate guy, but I've had a couple people send me chocolates from the Midwest, and it seems like there's a big kind of salt chocolate thing. I know a lot of people do it, not just in the States. They do it all over the place, but it seems like anytime somebody's ever sent me chocolates, family, friends, whatever, and they're from the upper Midwest, there's always this combination of sea salt and chocolate. Maybe it's a thing out there. I don't know. We're going to dive in anyway. Let's get a nose. I dig it because the maple syrup is the star of the show. Most of the time, that's going to be the case with a lot of maple syrup beers because maple syrup is such an aggressive, at least nose on a beer. Especially if you're using it in a proportion where you want it to be impactful in the taste too. But I can't, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't dismiss the level of chocolate in here. They say this is brewed with just sea salt and maple, but man, the level of chocolate in this is intense. And when it marries with that maple syrup, what you get is more of a maple macchiato kind of vibe. I'm not getting a big salt component on this nose. Not that I expect much to it. If anything, it's just a subtle minerality that you'd expect sometimes with not just any beer, but more specifically, especially for me, a dark beer where I can get that kind of metallic astringency. A lot of times salt and minerality is very close to the metallic thing. It's very similar. So we'll see how that kind of hashes out. But this is a maple chocolate bomb with a capital B at the end. No, there's a D or an M or a B. Yeah, there's a B at the end. Capital B at the end. Jeez. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's delicious. Man, that's delicious. You want to know what makes me the happiest about this beer? Because it's not perfect by any stretch of imagination. It's very sweet. I wouldn't say it's like incredibly cloying sweet, but it's sweet. All the components in the beer are there. And you might be going, why does that impress you? I mean, if they say it's there, it should be there. You have no idea how many people do that and it's not fucking there. And there's so much placebo effect when it comes to beer. You read it and you expect it to be like, okay, I can kind of get that in there, so it kind of makes sense. No. What this beer is chocolate malt. It is maple syrup. And it is salt. That salt, which wasn't really perceptionally there for me in the nose, is absolutely there in the taste. None of it comes off heavy-handed. Sure, it's a sweet beer. Sure, the maple syrup is aggressive. Sure, the salt is there. But I don't think this beer is trying to tiptoe around the tulips. It's double-digit beer. It's trying to be aggressive. With that aggressiveness in mind, it's not leaning heavily in one direction. Even though that maple syrup is leading the way, it's almost always going to lead the way. That's inherently how maple syrup does. But that chocolate malt, I can't even get past it. There's got to be, you guys, you're fucking around. You added some chocolate to this. You add a little bit of lactose to bump up those chocolate vibes. I'm not telling, but I'm having a hard time believing that this is just all base malts with how vibrant the level of this chocolate kind of comes off. Because if you tell me, okay, how do I want to bump up chocolate in a beer? Just have a little bit of cocoa nib vibes in there. We don't need to tell anybody. Even a little bit of lactose. To me, I have a hard time discerning between vanilla and chocolate sometimes. So if you add a little bit of lactose to a heavily chocolate malt kind of beer, it's just going to bump up that chocolate vibes. But it just comes off rich and delicious. And I'm going to tell you right now what I want to do, because I have 2 cans of this and I'm going to have to try to do this. Maybe I'll do another video. I probably won't. I'll probably just do it personally. Maybe I'll do like a live thing or something. I need to. Not just want to. I need to drink this beer side by side with Brooklyn Chocolate Stout, because this is exactly what Brooklyn Chocolate Stout would taste like if you add maple syrup and salt to it. I don't mean that in a bad way. Brooklyn's Chocolate Stout is one of my favorite chocolate stouts of all time. If I want chocolate, I want all of it. I'm going to that beer. It's just always been kind of a soft place in my heart. The beer's been around so long, it ages so well, it's always readily available. And that's where my mind immediately went with this beer. Once I kind of got past that kind of shock and awe of the level of chocolate, maple syrup, and salt kind of combining together in a beautiful fashion, it is that beer with those added components to it. This is delicious. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I like it so much, too. Because it has that kind of, that memory-inducing kind of jarringness of that Brooklyn Chocolate Stout. It's fantastic. It's aggressive because it's supposed to be. It showcases all the elements of the beer in a vibrant, yet not one thing is completely overpowering the other. The salt is meaningful, but not over the top. Maple syrup is the lead of the show, as it should be, but again, it's not too far ahead of the chocolate, nor that salt salinity thing. I love it, man. It's good beer. Let's put it that way. Yeah, what more do you want me to say? I dig it. Let's talk about it. It's one of the better adjunct stouts that I've had as of late. Yes, up there, if not Mount Rushmore. Status, value, and availability, no idea. Let me guess on this. 10% adjunct laden stout. I want to say $16. That's my guess. We'll see if I'm wrong. Anybody out there in the Chicagoland area, let me know what's what as far as this goes, as far as price point, or I could just look it up on YouTube, or sorry, not YouTube, Instagram afterwards, and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like Brooklyn Chocolate Stout, but you want a little bit of pizzazz in your life, I'm imploring you, if you have this beer, if you've gotten this beer, if you can get this beer and you can get Brooklyn Chocolate Stout, do a side by side. I will absolutely bet that you'll be like, wow, this is a creepy kind of back and forth. And I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to have to track one of those bottles down, and then we'll see what's what. But yeah, there you go. Absolutely fantastic beer. Cool enough into the way it kind of fucks with its ingredients, and just honestly, it just bears its soul completely. Dances in front of you and just does a jig like it wants you to just have all the chocolate and salt in the world and maple syrup. So there you go, another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Mass Beers Dance and Jig. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Inside joke. Anyway, down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of hot butcher right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.